Hello, comrades. Welcome back to Ushanka Show. Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи. Слушайте программу Ushanka Show. My name is Sergey, and I was born in the USSR. Меня зовут Сергей, и я родился в Советском Союзе. My special thanks и огромное спасибо to all my supporters on patreon.com. Thank you, comrades. It's greatly appreciated. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about Soviet retail. And if you're interested in this topic, I already have 7 videos I made talking about shopping in the Soviet Union. And you can check out my playlist, which is called just like that, Soviet retail. And the main topic of today's video is grocery stores called MOLOKO. So they'll be like milk products, but the name was really basic and simple, milk. And guess what, my dear viewers? It's time to learn some Russian words. Ура! Молоко. Молоко. That's the word for milk. Творог. Творог. This is what in America called farmer's cheese. It's not really cottage cheese. It's drier. So I saw the product by Lifeway, and it's called farmer's cheese. Творог. Сметана. Сметана. Sour cream. Сыр. Сыр. That's cheese. In my previous videos about food shopping, I already mentioned that you could purchase milk products in several types of retail stores. You could shop in Gastronom, which had different departments, bread, meat, fish, and there'll be also milk. So milk products. Then in the late 70s, early 80s, in the big cities, we started having Universam grocery stores. This is similar to regular grocery store here in America when you just grab a shopping basket. We didn't have cards, and then you go help yourself with whatever groceries you can find there. And since forever, we had these Moloko stores that sold only milk products. Look at this adorable picture. Even for me, right now it looks so weird that mothers can just leave their strollers like that and go inside, get in line to buy some milk products. But that was a normal way of parents leaving kids behind. And one of the reasons most the Moloko stores were pretty tiny and they weren't designed to be accessible with the strollers or handicap wheelchairs, so you have to leave it because otherwise you have to carry it up the steps or something like that. So the easiest way was just to leave it outside, and no one was stealing kids back in those days. And right away I would like to answer a question about food lines or bread lines. Quite a few viewers keep on asking this question, popping up here and there. Is it true about bread lines in the Soviet Union? Well, I can tell you from experience, like milk stores, it's a good idea to show up before opening. So I know like on Sunday or Saturday, my dad will go there. Like if the milk store opens at 7 or 8 a.m., you want to be there maybe 20 minutes early and get in line before store even open to make sure you can get what you need, like sour cream and milk and some cheese. Because in a couple hours later, there'll be longer line, and by probably 11 or noon, most of the items will be gone, and then store will have some items that not many people purchase. So we did have lines, but of course, if there'll be nothing to buy, there'll be no line. Now let's take a look at this picture. So here's an example of the milk store and its variety. So the first impression, you look at this photo, it's like, wow. I'm not sure why they were talking about empty shelves in Soviet Union. Here it's all packed and looks like there's quite a variety of items, although they all look the same. It's kind of interesting. I counted, there's a total of 13 price tags. So it looks like they carry 13 different items in the milk store, but it's pretty much only 2 products I can recognize. You have bottles of milk everywhere. On the top of the shelf, inside of the cooler, on the background, and then on the far right, and there is this little package. It's called sirok. So that's like could be that farmer's cheese that you can buy in the package. There's possible they're the same looking bottles, but they'll have a different milk drinks like kefir, and then different milk types like low fat, high fat milk. But generally, first impression stuff. There's a lot of items for sale, but it's actually maybe 3 or 4. They just fill all the shelves with whatever they have to make it look full. And then of course you see this sale ladies. They always wear these white lab coats and this funny looking white hats. That's just a requirement when you deal with groceries. And from 1960s till the 80s, we had these really funny looking packages of milk. This kind of unusual triangular shape. And they came in 2 sizes. Small ones, there's a quarter of the liter, and then bigger ones, a half of liter. And it was pasteurized milk. A half of liter, the price was 15 kopecks. And I'm constantly trying to figure out how to compare value of dollar to ruble to get, so we can compare apples to apples. And if the Soviet engineer was making 150 rubles a month, and let's say American engineer making $5,000, then 30 kopecks will be equal $10. For the half of liter of milk, you're paying $5. So that price will be really high if you compare it that way. And because the packaging was such a funky, awkward shape, the crates were also looked really weird. And they weren't good packaging, because I remember it's constantly when they bring milk in that type of container, there will always be milk bottles on the floor. I looked around and they claimed that around 1% of packaging leaked. I think it was higher than that. But that was famous that you when you buy those triangular shaped milk containers, you always check to see if it's not leaking. And the way they were gluing it, it was like at the same time when they fill it, something like that. So there was always a problem with leakage. Later in the early 80s, we switched to different type of packing. I think it was Tetra Pak or something like that. So those were really good. They were more reliable. They never leaked. So that was a great times when they finally retired that awkward triangular packages and switched to normal, those square, which I see in every American grocery store. Otherwise, most milk products and milk were sold in these wide mouth glass bottles, usually half of the liter. And there will be no labels, just on the lid. So that's kind of like that silver foil. There'll be different color stripes. So if no stripes, it's just milk. If maybe green stripe, maybe it's a high fat milk, or you guys call it whole milk. Then if it's a kefir, maybe they will have, I don't remember, there's every product had the different stripe just on the lid, but otherwise we had no labels. Quickly about prices. So half of liter bottle of milk was 30 kopecks. And I said if you compare Soviet engineer to American engineer, 30 kopecks is $10. So you pay $10 for half a liter of milk if you make $5,000 in 150 rubles. But 15 kopecks of that was like deposit. So actual milk was 15 kopecks half liter or 30 kopecks a liter. And then of course the bottle is a deposit. Kefir was the same price for the half of liter, also 30 kopecks. And while we're on the topic of milk, I want to mention it's not kind of relating to the milk stores, but you also could purchase raw milk, or we call it разливное. So they will be coming straight from the milk farms in these interesting yellow little tankers, similar to the kvass drink tankers or piva beer. We also had milk. So they bring them in the morning and they park them in different parts of the city. And then you purchase, and the liter was 28 kopecks, so slightly cheaper than processed pasteurized milk. But that will be fresh milk from the cows, not pasteurized, and people bring their own containers and get them filled, and you pay right there on the spot. So there's one other way of purchasing milk, right through from the tankers, straight from the cow farm. Now, when it comes to sour cream smetana, you could purchase two different ways. You could buy it in jars, just glass jars, and usually it's like 25 kopecks for the small jar, or you could buy it out of bidon. So this aluminum jug. Usually it's a 40 liters, about 10 gallons jug that they bring sour cream from the processing plant, and then they just use the scooper and pour into your jar. So you bring your own jar, like a liter glass jar, and they will fill it up for you, and you pay. Okay, I need to tell you something about sour cream. I was really shocked when I moved to America to find out that in America, sour cream is so thick. Like, you have to use the spoon to scoop it. In Soviet Russia, sour cream is liquid. It's not, of course, as liquid as milk, but it's a thick liquid that you can actually pour. And it makes me wonder where was it made liquid. I won't be surprised that workers at the milk stores would take, a couple of liters of sour cream out of that big aluminum bidon jug, and they add water and mix it up. This way they have a little extra sour cream for themselves, and then they still have a plenty slightly liquefied sour cream for customers. Another reason for the lines that you have to wait to buy groceries, like in the milk stores, was because they operated like deli style. So they would have a big blocks of farmer's cheese, rolls or bricks of cheese, big blocks of butter. And so everything had to be cut. So if someone wants 200 grams of butter, other person wants half of kilogram of butter. So it takes time to cut it, slice it, check the weight, wrap it in the paper, give it to customers. Just to help each customer would be at least 10 minutes because they want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, then everything checked on a scale. So I think one of the reasons we always had lines is because it took forever to serve each person slicing and dicing products. And of course, such a Soviet deli style retail created quite an easy way for workers to cheat customers, to mess with their scales so they can sell less product for the same money. In the world where access to goods was actually more important than money, and socialist system actually was that type of the world, so the retail jobs, especially in the food industry, were hard sought for because you have access to butter, access to sour cream, access to milk. But the question is, how are you going to monetize your access to foodstuffs? And the answer, the easiest way is to cheat the scales, cheat the customers. As I joked once, in Soviet Russia, 1 kilogram is always 950 grams. Many people don't realize that quite a few grocery items were quite expensive if you compare American salaries and prices versus Soviet salaries and prices. For example, average retail worker in the Soviet Union was making 130 rubles a month. So if you do 4 weeks, 40 hours a week, it comes to about 80 kopecks an hour. Okay, and the price for butter was 3 rubles 42 kopecks. So then if you look at for example, if you work at the grocery store in America for $10 an hour, it equals $42 a kilogram. So, if you're making $10 an hour and you sell something for $42 a kilogram, if you cut just a little bit from every sale, you can actually make a decent money every single day. So take a look at this cute picture. I already posted it before on YouTube. This shows the worker of ОБХСС, отдел по борьбе с хищениями социалистической собственности. My goodness. So this is like the department that was fighting against misappropriation and stealing stuff from Soviet retail. He is verifying the scales. And that's a pretty cool photo. Like, they usually will send some old lady or someone else, like a test customer, and she'll purchase some goods like butter, cottage cheese, and then they will come in and say, like, all right, let's see what you sold, and they verify the scales, and then you can get in serious trouble. You can get fired, pay fines, or even get a jail time. Some items were available pre-packed from the milk processing plant. For example, butter. There'll be 100-gram packages. Price was 72 kopecks, so almost like 1 hour of work for the retail worker. Then also we had farmer's cheese, pre-packed. We had farmer's cheese with raisins, my favorite stuff. It's a sweet with sugar added, so there'll be sweet farmer's cheese with raisins, yum yum. And a couple other items, but a lot of them, as I said, was a deli style that will be cut and weighted right there at the MOLOKO store. Okay, comrades, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something new. As always, don't forget to like or dislike this story, share with your friends, and if you have something interesting to share, please post in the comments below this video and we will discuss it. Thank you very much. До свидания. Goodbye. Hey, by the way, cool merch for cool comrades is available at the Ushanka store at teespring.com. Just a friendly reminder that my book American Diaries is available on Amazon.com, or shoot me an email if you would like to have a signed copy. Thank you. And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life and soul